first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fox 12 Now. Thanks for joining us. We are live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom right after our noon news, as we do every weekday. And we continue on talking about the big stories that are affecting you, or things that we're covering. A lot to do here over the next 3 hours. But definitely the biggest thing we have been covering here is the trial that is going on in downtown Portland. Just a reminder again, if you do not know, so this is a district court trial that is going on from the state of Oregon, city of Portland, state of California versus the Trump administration regarding the legality of sending in National Guard troops to the city of Portland, specifically to that ICE facility in South Portland. We've been hearing testimony over the last 2 days. This is the third day. We're into the second half of the third day now, maybe even further along. To talk about this, as always, we have Spencer Schacht joining us right here from downtown, where he has been covering this along with our team. And Spencer, you know, one of the things for people to know too is that when the court goes into recess, that's when we can report on what's happened. And that happened not very long ago, about 20 minutes ago or so, I believe, which means we have a whole bunch of new information.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So over that, you know, with this recess, what are some of the big things that you found out?
Yeah, so, well, earlier today we said we weren't sure if they were going to get a lunch break today because there was so much to get through. They started early at 8:30 this morning, and it sounds like they have just been chugging along. The judge decided that they are going at a good pace, so they did end up getting a lunch break after all. So that's how we got some more information to bring you now. We're able to tell you about the latest witness they called to the stand. Her name was Camilla Wamsey, and she is the field office director for the ICE facility. She testified that she's been trying to hire more ICE agents, but that has been difficult over the last couple of months. As of right now, there are 30 to 40 ICE agents deployed here in Oregon. 20 to 30 of those are based at the field office on the South Waterfront in Portland. She testified that when she got this new position, she set some new goals, and her goals are to increase the number of arrests that ICE officials make. She wants to decrease the amount of time detainees spent in custody, and she set the new goal of making 30 arrests a day. But she says there have been struggling to meet those goals as of recently because of the ongoing protests outside the ICE facility on the South Waterfront. And she said, quote, there are times where we are sending people to Tacoma instead of processing them at the Portland location during the evening hours. She said that is because of the protest. It's hard to sometimes get folks in and out of the ICE facility, so they've been kind of bypassing the ICE facility on the South Waterfront and just going straight up to Tacoma. That was all the information we got from her on the direct questioning from the federal attorneys. And then when the city and state attorneys were able to cross-examine her, they were really asking her questions about that first big protest we saw at the ICE facility back on June 13th and 14th. That was the protest where windows were broken in the ICE facility by protesters throwing in weights. They put chains on the front door. And the question they asked Wamsey is how many people were working that day, and she testified there was none. There was no one working on the 13th and 14th, and she even testified that they were able to expedite the repairs made to the building so that they could get up and running as soon as possible. So they also asked her about ammunition that has been fired by federal agents, seeing if they track the amount of ammunition that the agents fire from the roof of the federal building, and she said no, they don't keep records of that. And that seemed to take Judge Immergut by surprise, so she reiterated that question, saying, are you not keeping detailed records? Do you not keep detailed records of that type of what is happening at the ICE facility on the South Waterfront? And Wamsey said, no, we do not keep records of that specific detail. So they dismissed her from the stand. They went on their lunch break, and they're expecting to call, I believe, at least one more witness this afternoon, but we'll see what they get done before they are able to deliver their closing arguments by the end of the day.
Definitely some interesting moments there. So interesting news on they're looking to hire more, which I guess that shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. But, you know, increasing arrests and having that arrest threshold of 30 arrests per day. So having something like that as a bar, that's an interesting piece of news there coming from that about how they're handling things. And then also the not keeping track of the munitions, because I know at least on the first day, that was a big point that the Portland Police Bureau were making, talking about some of the indiscriminate firing. According to the Portland Police, they said that ICE agents, at least at one point, were indiscriminately firing that. So not keeping track of those munitions seems like an interesting, and just an interesting point in all of this, that that's not something that she said that they're doing.
Yeah, it's her testimony seemed to be pretty revealing of what you can expect from if you were to be able to go inside the ICE facility. She talked a lot about how it's not a proper field office compared to where she's based up in Seattle, actually. So she didn't call the ICE facility down on the South Waterfront a field office per se. She said it was more of a sub office where they check people, they process them, and then move them up to a detainment facility. As we know, the ICE facility on the South Waterfront is not allowed because of the zoning issues that they have with the way that the building is zoned with the city of Portland. They're not allowed to keep people detained there for more than 12 hours. And so it's not a full field office. As she said, it is a sub office, and that the full field office where she works is up in Tacoma in the Seattle area.
Which is what we have heard, from a number of different reports of people being taken to that Tacoma office for various reasons, but especially involved with ICE arrests. Looking through here at some of the documents, a lot of cross-examination, it looks like, was going on with this. One of the things I was going to ask you is, where are we at, in this trial right now, as far as, is the defense done? Are they going to be calling more people? That's what we're waiting on?
Yeah, that's what we're waiting to find out.
Okay.
We do know that the plaintiffs in this case, they called 4 witnesses. She would have been the 3rd witness called in this case. So if they are going on even grounds here, the plaintiffs called 4, the defense called 3, we might be able to hear a 3rd witness or a 4th witness this afternoon, but that is unclear. We'll let you know when they go on their next break what happened this afternoon once they got back from their lunch break. They're scheduled to go back into session at 1:15 per Judge Immerget. So there see some folks headed back into the courtroom or the courthouse now, probably getting ready to sit in on the rest of the hearing for this afternoon.
All right, and they have until 5 o'clock is when they do have to end. Maybe they end before that. We don't know, but we'll certainly bring you that information as soon as we find out. And Spencer, anything else that you've learned here that you think is important for people to know?
Just reminding folks that the merits of this case is they're trying to decide whether or not President Trump has the authority to deploy federalized National Guard members into Portland. That is really the crux on this case. They've kind of been talking about a lot of other issues through their witnesses, and Judge Immerget has been very good about reminding both the defense and the plaintiffs that we are here to talk about the National Guard and whether or not they need to be deployed. So she's really trying to keep folks focused and talk about that issue. So we'll see what her ruling is. This is a bench trial, so there is no jury. Judge Immerget is the one to make the final decision. I don't think we can expect a decision today because she did order briefs from both the plaintiffs and the defense to be written over the weekend for her to review. So I'm sure we can expect a ruling sometime next week.
Sometime next week. And again, that's up to the judge to decide when that decision is made. There's no exact timetable except for what she wants when it comes to that decision. I did just notice one other thing here, just scanning this. And again, there's a lot of testimony going on, so we've been going through. So how many arrests through ICE come through those encounters versus arrests at large in the community? They said 60% of the arrests come out in the community, 40% at the facility. So that's just an interesting insight or look into how ICE operates there, at least according to them and this testimony that's coming through. There's a lot here to digest, but we've taken some of those highlights and got those to you. So again, just kind of going over those. They send people up to Tacoma on occasion because of the evening hours, looking to hire more people, looking to make about 30 arrests a day. And excuse me, that's all coming from the ICE director there. So Spencer, I want to say thank you, as always, for joining us and letting us know here, what's going on and how this is all playing out. Still more to come. So when they do go into a recess, we will have that information for you and get that to you as soon as we know. So Spencer, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. We'll be here.
All right. And just to know, Spencer's been out there every day covering this, so a lot of great information coming from that. And we've got our team there in the courtroom as well. We just can't report on what's being talked about while they're in session. That's one of the regulations on there. Okay, what we're going to do now is just take a quick break, but we've got plenty more coming up for you here on Fox 12 Now. So I mentioned we cover a wide range of topics, and we do. So in addition to this trial, if something new comes with that, we will have that for you. We'll have updates throughout the afternoon. We're also going to be talking about a press conference that took place in Woodburn earlier today with an organization called Oregon for All, which is actually 100 different organizations, or over 100 are part of that. And they had a press conference regarding a concern they had with what they said was 30 plus Woodburn area residents being arrested by ICE over the last couple of days. So they came together, they had a statement where we'll talk about that a little bit more here coming up during this hour. We're going to recap some of these big stories. We've got plenty more to bring you, but let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Fox 12 Now.